Hi, I'm just going to do a short video on how to do a press release. You on this assignment have a list of facts. You're supposed to write a press release. Now, one of the things about a press release is basically a news story. In this case, you're going to write it as this is kind of a story about voting, and it's going to be about when the deadlines are. And so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to write a news story in what we would call the inverted pyramid. I talked a little bit about that in the previous chapter. The inverted pyramid is an upside down triangle. I'm trying to make that with my hands as I talk. And the idea there is the biggest information goes, supporting information, supporting quotes, things like that, and less important, but you try to get as much information in as possible. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to have a opening that answers the who, what, when, where, why, kind of gets why are we writing about this? Why is this important? You're trying to grab the attention of somebody in the media and get them to think it's important. You're going to want to write a basic, what we call news lead, and you're going to want to write that in a way that engages them. And then you're going to want to get the rest of that information about all the requirements for voting, all the requirements for registration, voting times, things like that, whatever is in this press release that I'd have to look back at that I'm not at this very second and do it. So let me just bring up a Word file just to kind of show you how you do this. I suppose I should actually share my screen with you. So if you come back here to a Word document, one of the things that is first off is, let's suppose you use, you don't have to, like on the fact sheet, I had you enter in the information about the company on the left and then the media contact on the right. With a press release, typically you're going to put all the company information at the bottom, so you don't have to have the company information at the top. You're probably going to put out on company letterhead or a company logo up in the left, but we'll just assume you have that, and we'll begin with that. And so you're going to be doing this from the perspective of the Sangamon County clerk office. And so you're going to want to do it that way. And at the bottom of the page, at the very bottom, you're going to end up putting kind of the information, the contact information. So you can look up where that information would be by Googling, going to Sangamon County clerk and pretending to be that. Typically up here at the right, you're going to start off with a thing that will say something like, in bold, it'll say like immediate release. Or it'll say something like release, and then it'll say, February 1st, 2021. And what happens is sometimes it'll even say release or hold. It'll sometimes say hold for release 10 a.m. February 1st, 2021. What this is saying is immediate release means as soon as you have this in your hand, you're welcome to publish it. Hold for release is what they call embargo, and it's hold for release. The idea here is journalists, you're dealing with journalists with press releases typically, and journalists need time to write stories. They don't just magically appear. And if you want something out on Tuesday to announce some big initiative, sometimes it's common. You'll call up the newspaper, the radio show, the television program, and you'll say, hey, we got a big announcement coming out Tuesday. I'm willing to, we don't want it out until Tuesday, but I can send you over information if you guys can agree to hold it. It's called embargoing or holding the news. And so in that regard, you would say hold for release, and you would put the time and date. And if the company or some media organization releases it before then you can call and be like, what the, and yell at them all you want, but that because they've broken the embargo. And then next time you have a big announcement, you don't send it to them until 30 seconds after everybody else has already published it, who got the information a week ago. But that's kind of payback because now they don't get the story that day and everybody else is going, oh, well, why didn't so-and-so magazine, why didn't so-and-so have it? That's because you guys didn't do what you're supposed to do the previous time, and now you're getting kind of left out. But immediate release means it's available immediately. Most of the time you do immediate release, but sometimes with a big story, something that is coming down the pike, but you don't have it ready yet, you'll put hold for release and you'll put a time, date, that kind of thing. Below that, you'll put media contact. And so also in the upper right-hand corner, and so you would put, your name, and you would put, phone number, that kind of thing. And, email, whatever it be. Okay. Then you're going to go down 3 lines. You're going to center And then, you know, you're going to put a headline on it, like voter registration opens, you know, XYZ, whatever you know, whatever is appropriate as a headline. These can be kind of long. They're usually not as simple as like a news. They can be a bit long, but you would put that there. You're gonna hit enter 2 more times. You're gonna go flush left now, and you're gonna start off with what's called a date line. A date line is basically the name of where this is occurring. So in this case, if you're doing an election, it's going to be in Springfield, Illinois, right? And so you would put that in there. And then usually, like with press releases, sometimes you'll also put the date that you're writing this. So you put, you know, like January 26, 2021 is when I'm doing this. You put, you know, a dash, what's called M dash, a long dash, or two hyphens. And you would then begin writing it. And you would, you know, write your headline and say, you know, you'd write it as a headline and you would do that. You would usually leave an extra space between paragraphs. You keep your paragraph short, and that's the way you do it. You basically just take the information and write it into what you think would be a usable story that will get the attention of the person. At the bottom of the press release, you would put -30-, or you can put pound, centered, and that will signal that it's the end. If you need a second page, it would be customary to write more and centered, and then on the next page, whenever you reach the bottom, you would put, you know, 30-30-. With that said, at the bottom of that, it's common to put, you know, an about section here. If you watch the one about critiquing the press releases, I was showing you examples like the Red Cross, the bottom of their press releases will give you a little history of what their organization is, why they do it. If you're a restaurant, you give a little history, maybe give information about the chef. So at the bottom, you usually have kind of about the business, organization, etc. And this is kind of boilerplate background information that a reporter or media personality might want. And then at the very bottom, you would put the contact information. You'd put the name of the business or organization, Sangamon County Clerk, comma, XXXY Street, you know, that kind of thing. Springfield, Illinois, you know, 627XX, and, you know, phone, web, email, all that kind of information. You can put that in, you know, line by line, you know, like this, or you can just put it, you know, you can just put it into like a paragraph form. And if you do it in paragraph, I'd probably center it, or you can do it like that, either way. Okay. But that's the way that would be formatted. I'm going to be looking for you to format that, and I'm going to be spending most of my time focused on how you write it. But, you know, if you're going to do it, you might as well format it correctly. And so there's kind of the background on how to do that. All right. Good luck.